We are less than a week away from the first ever 12-team college football playoff game. We're going to take a look at Tennessee, Ohio State here in this video. This game will be on Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC. Ohio State's favored by 7.5 points. We're going to look at 5 reasons why each team could win this game. You're not going to get an official prediction from me in this video, but I will be doing a playoff prediction video where I'm going to go through all the games and give you my predictions. But yeah, in this video, we're going to take a look at 5 reasons why each team could win, keys to the game for each team, and we're going to start with Tennessee. Tennessee will be underdogs against Ohio State, but I'm going to give you 5 reasons why they could win this game. And if they do, in fact, win this game, I think you're going to look back at these 5 reasons as being the reasons why they defeated Ohio State and advanced in the college football playoff. Let's start with our first reason, and that is turnovers. Turnovers could be a key in this game. If you look at Tennessee, their defense forces 1.67 turnovers per game. Ohio State averages a little over 1 turnover per game. So that is an advantage for Tennessee. If their defense can force some turnovers in this game, it's obviously going to give them a much better chance to win. But I look at some of the big games that Ohio State has played this season. When we look at Michigan, Penn State, and Oregon, in those 3 games, Ohio State committed 2 turnovers in all 3 games. So if Tennessee can force a couple of turnovers in this game, and if their offense can take care of the ball and not turn it over, then that obviously is going to give them, a great chance to win this game. Ohio State, they're okay in terms of turnover margin when you look at how they stack up statistically, but I do think this is an advantage for Tennessee. And again, I look back at those big games where Ohio State turned the ball over, and if Tennessee does in fact get a win here, I think they're probably going to have to win that turnover battle, and they might even have to win it by 2. Our next reason is third down. So third downs, obviously very important in college football. You have to convert on third downs, and Tennessee is very good on both sides of the ball. So Tennessee is ranked number 5 in the country on defense in terms of third down conversion percentage. That means when you get into third down against them, they usually stop you. And on the flip side, Ohio State's offense isn't great. They're ranked number 47 on the offensive side in terms of converting third down. So that is a big advantage for Tennessee. If Ohio State, especially if they get into 3rd and longs and they have to throw the ball, they have some advantages with their wide receivers, yeah, but it's still that pass rush for Tennessee, that defensive line, that's going to cause some problems. So I think Tennessee's third down defense will be a big key, but you could also look at the other side. Tennessee has an advantage there as well. Tennessee's offense ranks number 14 in the country in terms of converting on third downs, and Ohio State's defense ranks number 27. Yeah, they're both good. That's strength on strength, but again, an advantage for Tennessee, a slight advantage. But I think what really matters here in this one, it's Tennessee's third down defense, and I think it's that defensive line and that pass rush. If they can stop Ohio State's run game on 1st and 2nd down, and they can, again, get them into 3rd and longs, I think that's a huge advantage for Tennessee, and it could be a big part of a victory for the Vols if they do in fact pull it out. I like to always look at the psychological advantages in these games, and I think that definitely goes to Tennessee in the fact that they have no pressure in this game. Tennessee had a great season. They went 10-2. They made the college football playoff. If they lose this game as a touchdown underdog, it's not going to be that big of a deal for them. I just don't think there's a lot of pressure on this Tennessee team. On the flip side, Ohio State and Ryan Day, he's got to win this game. I mean, he has got to at least win this game. A lot of people calling for his job, and if Ohio State does in fact lose, it might be the end of Ryan Day at Ohio State. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think that the fact that Tennessee can go into this game and kind of just play loose, and again, no real pressure on them in this game, that is a huge advantage. Now you could say the psychological advantage goes to Ohio State because of the way they lost to Michigan, and they're going to come in really motivated and really fired up. But I don't know that that's the case. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Ohio State team. If they don't win one playoff game, this season is a massive disappointment. I mean, it's a disappointment if they don't win the national championship, but if you don't even win a playoff game, then that is a huge disappointment for them. But again, on the other side for Tennessee, they're underdogs in this game. They got nothing to lose. I think they can go out there and play with a lot less pressure, and that could be a big difference, especially early in the game. If they go out there and play loose and they get a lead, and then that pressure starts to build for Ohio State, that could absolutely play a big factor into this game. Our next reason why Tennessee could win this game, it's Dylan Sampson. Of course, he's been phenomenal this year, one of the best running backs in all of college football. You just look at his numbers, 1,485 rushing yards, averages 5.8 yards per carry, 22 touchdowns on the ground. He's also got 19 catches for 141 yards, so they can throw to him a little bit as well. And just overall, it's the Tennessee run game. I think that is going to be, if they're able to run the football, I think they probably win this game. And that's what it comes down to. Now it is strength on strength. Ohio State's run defense is very good. I mean, it's tough to run the football against Ohio State. They only give up 97 yards per game. That ranks number 7 nationally. But Tennessee actually has the best rushing offense in terms of teams that are playing in the first round. They're ranked number 9 in the country, 232 yards per game. And again, it all starts with Dylan Sampson. If he can run the ball successfully in this game, I think Tennessee probably wins it. And again, I think this is right there among the top reasons why Tennessee could win. Ohio State's defense, like I said, they've been really good against the run, but Michigan was able to run on them. Oregon ran it a little bit. I believe Jordan James had over 100 yards rushing in that game. Now, I don't know that Dylan Sampson goes off in this game. I don't know that he runs for 150 or 200 yards, but if he can do enough to get them into manageable third down situations and Nico can make some throws, that's where it all starts. The run game for Tennessee. If they cannot run the ball, if Ohio State shuts down the run game, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Tennessee has really almost no chance in this game. So that's going to be a huge, huge key in this one. The biggest reason why Tennessee will win this game, if they do in fact win this game, I think it has to be the defensive line. That is a big advantage for Tennessee in this one. We know about Ohio State's injuries. That has been a real concern for them up front with losing a couple of guys, and they've had to shuffle players around. And we'll see if they get it figured out in time for this game. But there are definitely question marks up front for Ohio State. And on the other side for Tennessee, this is a big, big strength. This team is number 8 in the country in rushing defense. They average only giving up 100 yards per game. They are very, very good on that side of the ball. Ohio State's rushing offense, by the way, when I was looking at the stats, I didn't realize they rank number 59, only getting 169 yards per game. That surprised me. I didn't realize that Ohio State's rushing game was ranked that low. But yeah, so that's a big advantage for Tennessee. You have to think that they can probably shut down this run game to a certain extent. They should have a big advantage of their defensive line. And again, that's a big reason why they could win this game. And then not just the run game, you look at what they do with their pass rush. They average 2.42 sacks per game. That's very solid. I mean, that's up there. They're ranked, let's see, they're ranked, well, their ranking is not that high. They're ranked number 39, but still, they're good at getting to the quarterback. They're solid, but when you go up against an offensive line that may have some issues, I think that's a big advantage for Tennessee. And if you look at Ohio State in terms of sacks allowed, they're actually statistically not that bad. I don't know how. I would love to look at their stats in the big games against good defenses and see how many sacks they've given up. But I still think this is an advantage for Tennessee, just with their strength. The strength of their defense is the defensive line. And then you look at Ohio State, the question marks, the injuries up front on their offensive line. So I think this is absolutely the number one reason why Tennessee could win this game over Ohio State. 5 reasons why Ohio State will beat Tennessee and advance to face Oregon in the college football playoff. My first reason is something that most people probably haven't really thought about, and that's penalties. So Ohio State actually has a huge advantage in terms of penalties per game. They rank number 9 in the country in terms of fewest penalties, and they only get 4.33 per game. So Ohio State's a very disciplined team, but you look at the flip side, Tennessee is awful in terms of penalties per game. They rank 129th in the country. They average 8.25 penalties per game. So if you just say, if you say that penalties average 10 yards per penalty, because you've got 5-yard penalties, you got 15-yard penalties. So let's just say 10. That's about a 40-yard advantage for Ohio State. And it's going to come down to when those penalties are. So if Tennessee commits penalties, let's say they pick up a third down conversion, they commit a penalty, it makes them have to punt the football or whatever. Things like that. That's really going to be what matters is the key penalties, the time of the penalties, all that. And if Ohio State can limit their penalties and Tennessee commits the penalties like they normally do, that's going to really help Ohio State in this game. So not something that I think most people probably think about when you look at this matchup, but it is a huge advantage for the Buckeyes. Next reason why Ohio State will beat Tennessee, and that is the pass defense for the Buckeyes. This Ohio State pass defense is number 2 in all of college football. They only give up 144.2 yards per game. That's like really, really good. Yes, their pass defense is very good. It's one of the strengths of this team. And, it's interesting because you look at their corners and sometimes you maybe have seen them struggle a little bit, but I think it's not just the secondary. You also have to look at the pass rush, which we're going to get to a little bit more in just a second. But it's the overall pass defense for Ohio State. Again, ranks number 2 in the country, 144.2 yards per game. Tennessee's offense, in terms of passing, ranks number 62. Yes, number 62, 230.9 yards per game. It's a Tennessee offense that wants to run the football. That has been the strength for them. We have seen Nico Iamaleava struggle in the passing game at times. Really just, I don't know. It's almost like he's not sure of himself. I've noticed that watching this Tennessee offense this season. The confidence level maybe not there, especially early in games. You see this Tennessee team a lot of times has struggled early, and then they kind of pick it up in the second half. They play better, which Ohio State has done that as well. We've seen that with Ohio State this season. So that's going to be really interesting to see how this game starts off, who gets off to the better start. But again, this is a big advantage for Ohio State. If they can force Tennessee to be one-dimensional and have to run the football and then run right into that really good front seven, that really good defensive line for Ohio State, because they're good against the run as well, that's going to really be strength on strength. Ohio State's run defense versus Tennessee's run offense. But again, if Tennessee is one-dimensional and Ohio State knows they're going to run the football, that's a huge advantage for Ohio State. So I think it actually starts with their pass defense. If they can, again, force Tennessee to be one-dimensional, then I think it's going to be much easier to slow down that run game, and that's going to be a big reason why Ohio State could win this game. The next reason why Ohio State could win this game, I think it's the wide receivers. The wide receivers have been, very good for Ohio State, and I know Tennessee's pass defense is pretty good. Their secondary is pretty good, but I still think this is an advantage for Ohio State. You look at Emeka Egbuka, he leads the team in receptions, 60 receptions on the season. Then you've got Jeremiah Smith, who I don't think anyone can match up with. You could argue that he is the best receiver in college football just in terms of talent. He's just really, really good. He's had 57 catches this year, but 934 yards, so 16.4 yards per reception. He's got 10 touchdowns, leads the team in touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. Carnell Tate has stepped up for them as well this season. He's got 41 catches, 583 yards, and he's been, I would say, maybe a bit of a surprise. I think the way he's stepped up has been really good in this season. And then you look at, maybe another guy steps up in a game like this, maybe a Brandon Ennis. Maybe he has a big game. He's only had 12 catches this year, but these are the types of games where you never know. Some guy could emerge and have a breakout game. And so I could see that happening as well, because there is talent on this roster at this wide receiver position. But you've got your go-to guys. You've got your guys that are going to come through. I think it's really going to be about the play calling, though. I mean, Ohio State has to get more aggressive. They're going to have to air it out in this game a little bit. Tennessee's run defense is really good. Running the ball against them is going to be tough. And so, Tennessee's run defense actually only gives up 100 yards per game. So, that's going to be an area where Ohio State may not have a ton of success, and they're going to have to throw the football. And these wide receivers are going to have to win their battles. And I think they can. I think this is an advantage for Ohio State. If they can't throw the football, if their receivers can't get open, then that's going to be a serious problem, I think, for Ohio State. But I do think that is an area where they have the advantage, and I think you'll see that in this game. Another big reason why Ohio State could win this game and a big advantage for them is in the red zone. You look at this Ohio State, and I'm talking specifically red zone defense. The red zone defense for Ohio State, it has been really, really good this season. Number 2 in the country. They only give up points 55% of the time. I mean, that is just ridiculously good. Teams get down there, they don't score. That's going to be huge in this game. Tennessee has not done well on offense. When they get in the red zone, they're not great. They rank number 88 in the country in terms of scoring in the red zone. So this is a big, big advantage for Ohio State. Holding Tennessee to field goals potentially if Tennessee does get into the red zone. And again, with Nico Iamaleava, we have seen him, just like I said, just not really sure of himself at times. And that really shows itself in the red zone when you have to make these critical throws in these critical moments in the game. He hasn't really come through this season. And if he does not come through in this game, that's going to be a big problem for Tennessee. And again, a big advantage for Ohio State. That red zone defense, holding Tennessee to field goals or maybe keeping them from scoring at all. I think there's been, what was it, the Nebraska? I can't even remember now. There's been several times where they've come up with goal line stands. And again, if Tennessee can't throw it down there, if they have to run it in, I don't really like their chances. When it comes down to Tennessee's, if you got a yard to get and you know that Tennessee's going to run the football, I like Ohio State's defensive line. I think they win that matchup. Again, it comes back to the passing game for Tennessee. They're going to have to make some plays there through the air because I think if you know the run is coming, big advantage for Ohio State, big advantage in the red zone with their defense, and that could be a big, big reason why they win this game. The biggest reason why I think Ohio State could win this game, though, is it's the pass rush. The pass rush for the Buckeyes is very good. They're number 16 in the country. They get 2.92 sacks per game. Very good. Very good at getting after the opposing quarterbacks. And it's not really a strength for Tennessee in terms of their offense and allowing sacks. They rank number 73 in sacks allowed. They give up 2.17 sacks per game. So that tells me, there will likely be 2 or 3 sacks at least in this game for the Ohio State defense. And if you can get those sacks in key moments, and that's really what I think is going to be the key to this game, is who makes the plays in the key moments. Talked about the penalties. Who makes the bad penalty that costs the team a drive, that keeps them from converting on third down, or gives the offense for the other team a free first down. The penalties in the key moments, and then the sacks, the turnovers in the key moments. Those plays, I think, are going to determine who wins this game. And again, when you look at this pass rush for Ohio State, that is an advantage. That is definitely an advantage for them. They're good at getting after the quarterback. Tennessee not good at protecting the quarterback. And if they can come up with some big stops on third down, get some big sacks, that's going to go a long way towards a victory for Ohio State and see them advance to round 2 to play Oregon in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff.